Let me first, good to see Prasad bringing in Sigmund Freud into the world of diplomacy. I think it's much needed because that is what Trump is all about. But having said that, let me take some important points where I'd be at variance with Ambassador Mukherjee. The point is that nations cannot behave purely on Freudian calculations, although they matter. I think former central bank governor Y.V. Reddy used to tell me, where I stand depends on where I sit. So, we are constrained by the fact that trade talks are in progress. So we
Yeah.
can't be too indiscreet. Discretion is the better part of diplomacy, but discretion doesn't mean silence. That is where I disagree with those who say Trump should be completely ignored. So we have to also make sure that the trade talks do not end in a manner where India is seen as a loser, because this silence is worth the price, and the price is a good deal in the trade FTA. So I'll be
Hmm.
constantly watching, calibrating, because if the Russian oil part of the story is any indication, that means that we are keeping quiet and we are also yielding ground. So I would
Hmm.
rather be doing hard diplomacy. Let's recall the fact that uh, Foreign Minister Jaishankar actually flew down for the SCO meeting to send a signal to the US. So it's not as if we haven't shown a spine at all,
Yeah.
but that was a subtle signal to the State Department. But I also have in mind not just Trump's psychology or background, it's also there is something called the national security strategy they have come out with, which is not in line with the past diplomacy of the State
Hmm.
Department. So, so I would say State Department is working in tandem with Trump, or doing things in a such a way that Republicans are openly talking about the Monroe Doctrine, especially after the Venezuela crisis. So this is not the old US. So I would like, as an Indian, to recall Indira Gandhi saying "buzz off" to Richard Nixon. I would like to recall the days of Krishna Menon standing up to British imperialist hangover. So there is a lot in our history when we
So
got a
what would
lot
you
going.
what would you want what would you
Yeah,
want at
let me
this
come to that.
point?
Yeah. So what I would like is what I call track two response to a track one insult. So people like Sashi Tharoor, who could be brought in for things like vaccine diplomacy or
Hmm.
outreach, should be, the parliamentary committee exists, senior media people exist. There are kinds of atmospheric pressures, diplomacy exists to tell Trump that if we are silent, then it is for a reason, and you had better yield ground and then get down to backroom, diplomacy.